Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in on Monday for my first racetrack video. A viewer of mine, Professor Toybox, asked for an overview of the course. What should I say? Here it is! Yeah guys, let's start where Merida started. Back here in this area there is a hotel across from the Federal Road I've talked about in the video. And back here I put down two of the buildings for accuracy, because on the Nürburgring, two buildings I don't know much about from race course companies, and even an arena is there. So, but for a better overview, let's style the fantasy terrain corners back to the former state. And I think the whole thing will be buggy, because when they are unstyled, especially when there are so much of them, it can be a bit buggy sometime, and things don't work as easy as when they're styled to their preferred style. So, but I think to have a good overview here is on the start, let's put the big trigger area up. Yeah guys, in those big trigger area is firing up two randomizers connected to a repeater. And the randomizer is connected to all the stadiums, but I use this method differently on the other stadium, which I want to talk about later. Here we do have the vehicle summoners I used for the different cars I used which you can spawn for the game. Some of them are in the game itself, and some are discs IO from the game. And you see on the vehicle summoner, of course they're connected to a locator, and the vehicle summoner is connected to a time delayer. It says when the generated vehicle option says exited, so you leave your car, it starts the time delayer, and when the time delayer is up, it goes back to the vehicle summoner with a logic connection and says delete all the vehicles, just for memory purpose. And you see this is the stadium from the sports toys section, and well, the signs you see here they are from the sports sections too, and the other parts of the tribune are all basic blocks, and I styled them to, I think it was concrete too, and the background is I think, I don't know the name of the style now, but it's you know, this metal style, you all know about it because we all play the game. You see there's the big tribune where we celebrated the win, and yeah, this 1, 2, 3, 4 So let's start here at the beginning with streets. I used the big streets at the beginning. This one, yeah. 1, 2, then the starter pad, a small one, and 1, 2. Okay. So, normally use the big large terrain blocks, which I will show later as well. And this is the, what's it called, inflatable Guido balloon, and it is, I think, from the, let's see, from the decorations. You find some cool things there. Oh, and I put the burger on that building only because I was able to put down a basic block with a pass tool. Otherwise the bounding box wouldn't let me to the burger put down, because I like this burger thingy, which is in the decorations drawer as well, because it can make every building a burger restaurant. Isn't that funny? Yeah, you see here we come to the bridges where the Federal Road is down. Is under it, sorry. There's the Mother Willow Tree, I think it's called. Yeah, and I think the willow tree is in the set pieces, but it wasn't in the original video, and LionTHD, a fellow YouTuber, asked, why didn't you put it in? Well, I said, cause of the lack of memory. But after I deleted one of the flying fishes and one blue Guido figure, which I put in over there with a whole bunch of stadiums, it fit in again. Well, this trigger area fires up all those stadiums over there, but this time the logic is a bit different. This trigger area fires into a randomizer, and the randomizer fires into 4 logic gates, and the logic gates are connected to all the stadiums. And I tried to put in some variety of actions like booing, cheering and everything on output to the stadiums and on output to the repeater, and it says repeater on. And the repeater on repeat fires back into the logic gate and does the whole cheering, booing, soft cheering again. And I tried some variety with booing, cheering, combining loud cheering with cheering, but you get the idea. Here I put down some of the signs, which I think fit perfectly here. Gives you some visual interest. You see this other trigger area just turns off the repeaters, and then the whole thing stops. So here again we have, well, a turn, no, it's not a turn left, I don't know the name of the street piece, I'm sorry. Yeah guys, here is a boosting pad in the middle of the road, which is a bit harder to reach when you come from a sharp turn. And here a sharp left turn after the second bridge, and well, you see not so much trees here, yes, but the whole trees from the whole area, a lot, I can tell you, a lot. Of course I put in here 2 boost pads, because this is a long straight road I put in. Well, I first thought about some turns here, but I think it's good as it is. You see there is a lot of free space, but since you are driving here, you don't need that much decoration besides the road. And you see the whole terrain was, when I started, on the same level, like the street piece here is. And then I thought, well, on the Nürburgring area there are pieces, I don't want to say dirt roads, but there are sand boxes where the cars can land when they don't reach the road properly. And here I put down a sandbox to incorporate this into my build, which is styled Buried Treasure, by the way. The style of the grass here is Sports Fan, which I knit together in the style section. Here, this trigger area is the same as before on the big turn over there. But this time I used 1 randomizer, 3 logic gates and 3 repeaters. This first one turns everything in motion. When you drive by, you have booing, cheering, soft cheering and everything else. And this trigger area here turns just the repeater off, and when you drive through that area again, the repeater will be turned on again. Yeah, I had to put in this small pieces here because when I styled it first, everything was on the same level, and when I incorporated in my style this the different levels, I haven't had slopes to put in here, and I didn't want to make a turn here again, so I put down these things, which make it is a bit more harder to drive this part when you come from the sharp turn from the last tribunes. So here we're back and the starter point. Yeah, and the train pieces under the stadiums are styled in Dusty Crop Hoppers Runway. Of course, those stadiums are boxed in by Concrete 2 styled basic blocks. This thing here is from Building Sets Group 2 from the Tomorrowland section. And it looks a lot, not exactly, but a lot like the driver's camp on the Nürburgring. Here I was able to put in, of course, the monster truck game by Professor Toybox from episode 9 of the Phineas and Ferb series. Here's some of the small hills I was able to put in. Would be cool to drive with bicycles on them, but we only had them in the Monsters Inc. playset. Sadly, they didn't make it into the game. You see here, this is the same level with the hills over there before they turn into the sandbox. I just make room here for this deeper area because it's on the Nürburgring 2, so I had to put it in for accuracy. So, and here a bird eye view that you see how big this really is. And you see, well, there are not so many trees, but enough to make the memory meter go mad when they are unstyled. You see, I downloaded a roadmap of the Nürburgring from the internet, and I tried to be as accurate as I could, or as I wanted, because I wanted to have some freedom for my own style. You see at the part where the Federal Road is, I wanted to incorporate more of the Federal Road, but they aren't relevant for the racing game anyway, so I left in that part just for someone who drives by to see. Yeah, and you see I didn't put in the rocky end pieces for the terrain blocks, which you normally would put in when you have smaller terrains. But it wasn't relevant for the race, and it saved me a lot of memory. Well, speaking of memory, there isn't much logic in here. Well, we have the logic for the stadiums, we have the logic with the vehicle summoners, the logic for the fishes on the path, of course the logic for the monster truck game. But after all, not that much logic. Yeah, and you see when I put in the different levels, I normally used the big slopes here. Saved a lot of space and time. Of course, the fantasy terrain corners and the fantasy terrain strips. Filled up the rest of it with the smaller terrain blocks, but all started with one large terrain block. Oh, but I forgot one thing. I put in the railings here at the stadiums, platforms you can walk on, which are from Building Sets Group 2, the city railings. Yeah, you can walk from behind onto those platforms between the stadiums, and they're booing and cheering, and they do every kind of stuff. Yeah, guys, and this was it for my overview of my Infinity Grand Prix Nürburgring Toybox. And you know, it's much more fun to drive inside Disney Infinity than in real life. That's the reason why I'm a public transport guy. That's the reason why I built this inside Disney Infinity, because it is much more fun. If you need any more information, feel free to ask, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys!